If an alien came down from another planet right now and asked Morgan Housel what is going on with housing in the United States, where would you begin?
I would begin with 2 points. One that kind of starts 10 or 15 years ago and one that is much more recent. The point that starts 10 or 15 years ago is it's always fascinating to me how deep the roots of our problems go. And this root is not even that deep, but if you go back to the end of the housing bubble, 2006, 2007, why there was a housing bubble in the 2000s is because we built way too many homes. Massive overconstruction, way too many homes that we needed, and then everything fell to pieces in 2008, and the housing industry kind of disintegrated. That was caused the financial crisis. A big part of that was after the housing bubble burst, millions of American contractors and carpenters and electricians and plumbers went out of business. They went and found something else to do. There was no more work for them. So if you were a plumber in Dallas, Texas, you hadn't found something else to do. You did not wait for your plumbing business to come back. You were gone. A lot of mom and pop contractors just went out of business. And what took their place were the giant home builders. But there are literally tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of mom and pop contractors that used to build 2 homes a year, 3 homes a year, that went out of business in 2008, and they never came back. Once demand for housing came back in the mid-2010s, 2013, 14, 15, those people who found something else to do, they did not go back to housing. They were working at auto plants and they were working, building solar panels. They did not come back to housing. And you can't just snap your fingers and create a new set of 1 million electricians. Which is just to say that for most of the last decade, we have been way short of home builders and home building technicians, carpenters, electricians, those kind of people, way short. So there was a massive underbuilding of homes for the last 10 years. We are probably short today, something like 3 million homes. We need 3 million more homes for sale today than we actually have. And that creates all kinds of problems. It basically just shifts up the housing conveyor belt, where it's like, it used to be that rich people lived in mansions and middle-class people lived in middle-class homes and poor people lived in low-income housing. And that just shifted up. So now it's like, the very, very rich live in the nice homes. The middle class live in the lower end homes, and the lower class people, there is virtually nothing left. Literally instigated the rise of homelessness and the opioid epidemic. Even like you can draw straight lines between these things. I just bring that up because I think a lot of what has happened over the last 2 or 3 years is we have this massive housing shortage combined with, because of the pandemic, people are spending way more time at home working for home. So housing means a lot more to them than it used to be. Combined with the third element here, which is that because the stock market boomed and crypto wealth boomed, you all of a sudden have a small sliver of society, not everyone, but a small sliver that has tons of money to throw around. When you put those 3 things together, home prices in the last 2 years, pretty much since the start of COVID, have gone vertical in a way that puts the housing bubble of the early 2000s to absolute shame. And so home prices, relative to any way you look at it, relative to income, relative to net worth, relative to historical trends, are so broken right now, and broken in a way that we have really never seen.